All right, everybody, welcome to the late edition of Friday Evening Trains. It is a wet and cold Friday over here. Um, but we are here and ready to go. I will preface this by saying I'm going to be a little bit distracted at first here. I'm waiting for an email back from my realtor. I'm looking for looking for a new place to live, and I'm trying to get a showing scheduled for tomorrow morning. So I just want to make sure I get that confirmed. But hopefully I get that soon, and we can focus on the task at hand. As you might have noticed, we have a new background, and that was because no, Code Monkey, I'm not being evicted midstream. Just want to make sure I get everything scheduled. So, but yeah. Anyway, today was the release day for TS Classic, which is just basically a rebrand of TS20XX, except they're not calling it TS20XX anymore. They're calling it TS Classic. Nothing new really gameplay wise, other than kind of mechanical upgrade for Tehachapi Pass with the ES44, and the branded shipping containers for the double stack cars on that route, which is pretty nice. I had a quick peek at them in the editor. There's now 6 well cars with various combinations of containers, so that is pretty cool. Looking forward to getting some use out of that. I am well, Code Monkey. Thank you. That would be new indeed, Jessica. Today was also the release of the Risa extension for, or no, I'm sorry, it's the extension for the Dresden to Risa route. To Leipzig. There we go. It was also announced today that Alan Thompson is developing the Glasgow subway for TS Classic. Which is, I got to admit, the trains are really ugly. But that's kind of an interesting, whatchamacallit, interesting choice, interesting route. I probably won't pick it up just because subways aren't super interesting to me, but it's cool that it's being done. So with all that faffing about out of the way, I forgot we have a Glasgowian on in the chat here. So now that I've alienated half my audience, we're gonna roll on. Starting on the Riviera in the 50s route. Driving a Class 31 in Coastal Green. It's 1962. Diesels are taking over the national network. You are a driver in the western region. You are in charge of a stopper from Kingswear to Bristol as far as Exeter. You'll call it Churston, Paignton, Torquay, Newton Abbot, Teignmouth, Dawlish, and Exeter. You have a Class 31 for power and an assortment of coaches. The line is busy, but you should be okay. So yes, as I said, TS Classic is out now. Again, if you already have Train Simulator, you do not need to buy this. You will get, unless you want the Leipzig extension for that route. Otherwise, if you already own Tehachapi Pass, you'll get the upgrade for that automatically. Like I said, I downloaded mine Or sorry, today wasn't. Yesterday was. Kingsbury Signal Box. Good morning, driver. There is a freight coming in, but it will be cleared by your departure time of 9:04. Came out yesterday, which is when I downloaded the update. So if you already have Catastrophe Pass, you will get the upgrade for that. Usually when people see the train pop out of the tunnel, their first comment is, oh wow, it's so tiny. Well, see, the screenshot that was posted on Facebook wasn't of the train popping out of a tunnel. It was, the maintenance depot. And, I saw this kind of squat orange thing. So the fun part of this is that I tossed in some coaches that come with Riviera in the 50s. And so we just have some random vacuum brakes stocked in the middle of our nice Mark 1s here. So that makes braking rather fun. You don't want much, do you, Jessica? Oops. Kind of forgot we still had the doors open. That would have been embarrassing. It won't smell like the real thing anyway. It's this mixture of damp oil, decades of cigarette smoke, brake dust, and asbestos. Special. Thought our departure time was 9:04. What's going on here? Alright. I am going to respond to this email real quick. Then we can focus. Ah! Oh, gosh. That would truly be horrifying. Get our get our speed up before we take on the grade. The track joint noises are a nice touch for this route. Goo Lagoon, huh? Actually, Ned, that is not Goo Lagoon. It is... One second. Working on it. It is the River Dart. How you doing, Ned? How'd that job interview go? I'm doing real good. Nice. For the Detroit one or for the one in Ohio? Ah, okay. That's a bummer. Wow. Where in Wisconsin? Beloit. Oh, okay. Beloit, former home of Fairbanks Morse. It all comes back to trains. It's the #1 worst place to live in Wisconsin. Oh, well, that's a bummer. But no, I'm doing good. Things are actually finally moving on the housing front. I had a showing today, and I just got one confirmed for tomorrow morning. Technically, Jessica, I'm pretty sure Fairbanks Morse outlasted Baldwin. Thanks, man. I'm pretty sure it was, in order of going out of business, I'm pretty sure it was, Baldwin, Fairbanks Morse, Alco, and that's it, because no one else has gone into business. None of the major ones, at least. Coming into Churston here. Overshooting the platform a little bit. None of the steam builders remain outside of the reserved bases like UP. Yeah. That is true. I don't think about that very often. Break action was reported to as Ford's awful. Yeah, well. There's a reason this stop isn't timetabled. It's fine. Heading off to the right is the Brixton branch. And our next stop is Paignton. now descending a grade. Technically, the Altoona work still exists, but that's probably what's going on. So. Yeah, I mean, and obviously, Norfolk Southern has done some rebuilding there, but I don't know that I would call it a builder in the strict sense of the term. Getting a lovely view of that would be the channel. As we descend the grade. Speed limit is dropping to 35 up here. Goodrington carriage sidings are on the left. We are now passing the Goodrington station. Or actually, that might have been Goodrington Sands, and this is I did see that. Jessica, that is awesome. That they did that. I hope something comes of it. Yeah, that would be great. More passenger service to New Orleans. God, this thing breaks like shit. Hey, as long as they can get on. I mean, I'm not going to argue at all with more passenger service for New Orleans. Or, I mean, I'm not going to argue with any expansion of Amtrak passenger service, if it makes sense. Are any of these stops timetabled? I guess not. It's a vibe-based timetable, I guess. Next up is Turkey. Or as I thought it was pronounced based on my watching of Faulty Towers as a child, Talkie. Yes. Houston, for instance. Are the brake pipes even connected? Probably not, because we have these three vacuum brake coaches in the consist, so it just kind of throws a big old wrench in everything. It's fun. In that it doesn't break worth a damn. Ah, well. We get to enjoy the vibes of the South Coast. Trinity serves Houston? Or are you saying that's a thing that should happen? Yeah. Yes, actually, Code Monkey, I am. I have played it once. My parents recently got the European version. We just haven't gotten around to playing it yet. Dallas to Kansas City via Wichita. So basically, an extension of the Heartland Flyer to Kansas City. Yeah. Yeah, I always forget that the Erie went all the way to Chicago. Dallas to Denver via Omaha. That I don't know makes sense. I think if you were going to do Dallas to Denver, you would do Dallas to Denver via Amarillo. I need to start braking for these platforms earlier. That's part of the problem. London to Barcelona. I think you would need to extend the Eurostar network over the Pyrenees, but I don't see how that couldn't work. The French Railway poses this. Well, the French Railway, not so much. I would think it would more be the different track gauge in Spain would pose a bigger problem. Kind of forgot about that. Just get the Swiss to dig a tunnel under them. Calgary to Mexico City. I don't know why you would do Calgary. I would think you'd do Toronto or Ottawa. I think you would do Toronto. Toronto to San Diego via Cancun. See, that I don't think makes sense either. It just... I don't think it makes sense for... trains to go out of the way like that. 1900 miles of standard gauge, 7350 of broad gauge. I didn't realize they had any standard gauge. I thought their network was entirely broad gauge. That's interesting. Also didn't realize that Spain had close to 10,000 miles of railway trackage. Well, I guess it makes sense, though. Spain's a pretty big country. Especially by European standards. Silver services to Toronto from New York. Essentially just combine them with the Maple Leaf. $1,200 of meter gauge and 17 of narrow is meters. I can't remember. I think meter gauge is actually narrower than narrow gauge. Narrow gauge is actually a defined width, but I can't remember what that width is. I think it's more than a meter, though. But used via yeah. I can see that making sense. Crawling up a 1 in 55, so we're not exactly accelerating quickly. On our way to Newton Abbott. In a way. Passing Tor Station. Rail links with adjacent countries. Gibraltar, UK. No current rail system in Gibraltar. That's funny. If the question is about extending the silver services all the way to Toronto, I would guess because they already have the Maple Leaf in place. And New York makes a kind of a logical end for that. Otherwise, as far as reviving the International, I don't think the problems that caused it to be discontinued have really been addressed. And in a lot of ways, they're probably worse than they were when it got canceled originally. Sending the Coast Starlight to Vancouver. South to San Diego. I don't know that extending it south to San Diego makes a whole lot of sense, but north to Vancouver I could see being a reasonable idea. I think in its very early incarnation, the Coast Starlight did actually go all the way down to San Diego, because the Coast Starlight isn't actually based on. It's kind of actually a concept by Amtrak. It kind of doesn't follow any specific. Time to arrive for the Canadian. Hello, driver. Please note that there will be an express leaving Newton Abbot ahead of you. Be sure to watch the signals upon your departure from the station. Because, you know, you can kind of argue that it's kind of loosely based off the daylight, but the daylight only ran between LA and San Francisco, and then I believe the Shasta daylight only ran from San Francisco to Portland. And so having a one through LA to Seattle train is an Amtrak concept. But obviously a good one at that. Mm-hmm. Exactly, but prior to that, it was not possible to get from LA to Seattle without having to change trains. This is a station which no longer exists. I don't remember what it is. A sign? Weird. Let's see the sign. Tinkerswell. Oh. I left the brakes on. Yep. Mostly because it was able to pick and choose the best parts of all of the routes it operated. The main line from Plymouth and Penzance is joining us from the left here. Mm-hmm. Don't mean you don't need to You don't like to transplant yourself and your baggage onto a platform for an hour for a connection. Generally speaking, no. But you only have to do that in places like, you know, Chicago and New Orleans now, versus having to do it in, you know, places like Tucumcari and Tucumcari. You know, small middle of nowhere towns. No doubt something that was terrible and, not at all... Oops. Not at all, correct. We're gonna use some hand breakage here to make sure we don't spad. Tucumcari is a town in New Mexico where the Rock Island and Southern Pacific connected. Now entirely owned by... both lines now owned by Union Pacific. Here we go. Get the signal. The distant also dropped, so we are good for now. The Heathfield branch is heading off to the left. This in here is up, though, so we need to... Oh, nope, just dropped. Hackney Yard is on the right. Another green from the distant. The New York, Ontario, and Western. The Old and Weary. I think we were talking about that last time. That's a shiny and new Black 5 for being pretty close to the end of the Steam. Raise distant. So hopefully we don't spad here. Yeah, well, redundant trackage will do that to you. But we are going to spad so hard. Oh well. Whoopsie daisies. Yep. Old and weary. Lost her anthracite traffic and couldn't hack it as a bridge line. Which the Delaware and Hudson was able to do for quite a while. Funny how railroads get names like that. Well, I mean, it got that name because it was old and weary. I suspect mainly because there wasn't enough traffic to support two bridge lines that basically went to the same place. That would be my hunch. Given the realities of Northeastern railroading in the 50s and 60s. Alright, this is just a really long block. To be fair, I think the Fire Nation in this case is more likely Conrail, because the creation of Conrail kind of meant there wasn't a need for a bridge line because Conrail went everywhere already, and then some. And so there's no reason that traffic would need to go via the Delaware and Hudson when it could just go via Conrail. GNSW was the good and safe weeb, really. It's funny. Glasgow and Southwestern. That was my guess. I forget, there was a couple other American railroads that didn't have especially flattering nicknames. But I can't remember what they were now off the top of my head. We're not beholden to any timetable here, so we can afford to go a little slow. But we are getting green signals, so Pep it up a little bit as we come in here to Tinmouth. Like the GH and GT, it's hard to think of one. Go hard and go fast. Oh, wait. T, not F. Go fast. Yeah, that's a tough one. Got to raise distant, but we should be good into the platform. It's the other way around. The General Terminus and Glasgow Harbor. Ah. Boy, if they're not timetabled, you don't exactly have a whole lot of time to get on and off this train. Plenty of variety. Too many railroads on top of each other. Yep. And it was kind of the same to a lesser degree in the Midwest. Too many Grangers. Too many Grangers to spread the grain traffic around to. Too many Hermiones. So now starting our run along the seacoast. One of the single most beautiful stretches of railway. Certainly in Train Simulator, but most likely in the entire world. This is one spot I definitely hope to visit in real life someday. I think after this, yep, we're straight through to Exeter. Man, and I thought it started breaking early enough for this one. Hi, Classic. Yeah, it's wonderfully obedient. Gate 14. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, next and final stop is Exeter. No classic, just Exeter. Yeah, all good. No worries, no worries. Passing Dawlish Warren station here. I think graphics look like Windows 97 graphics. I don't think they're quite that bad, Classic, but this is a 12-year-old game now, so the graphics engine is pretty behind the times. Oh, kind of close to that coal train. I, however, would not be. Passing Starcross Station. Starcross. Got her wound up pretty good now. The horn control on this iteration of the 31 is a little messed up. Gotta be careful how long you hold the B key. Otherwise it'll play the high tone twice. It doesn't classic, it just overlaps with the low tone in a way that wouldn't happen in real life. And also sounds kind of obnoxious. Coming up on the water troughs. Obviously, we don't need to worry about those. That Gronk seems to be a little lost there. The train isn't moving? Which train? The one we just passed, it was moving. It's just moving a lot slower than us. But ours is moving at a pretty good clip. Get on that train? Well, I can't. I'm tied to this one. It's moving. Passing Exminster Station. The other one does have cows. That is pretty sweet, but nothing I can do about it. Couldn't make out the loco from a distance, so I thought it was just a rake of runaway cars. What up, Maggie? Miss, I'm in Marquette, so I can't come to the party next week. $150 trucks being brought to Edinburgh once a week. Wow. That's a lot of cow. Now passing Exeter St. Thomas Station. Yeah, I mean, come on. You don't even like your sister. We're gonna overshoot the end of this platform, 'cause this train doesn't break for shit. Hello, Snickle. Yeah. Well, she doesn't like you. Why are you going to her graduation? Oh man, we're gonna Nebworth it. God damn. Oh well. Well, that was an attempt at Coastal Green. I wouldn't call it a successful one, but operational errors, all. Be glad it wasn't a terminus. You know what? Fair point. I think that sums it up. Operational errors, all. All right, so yep, that was Coastal Green. And we're going to hop across the pond, and I will be right back. Alright, so we are jumping back across the pond, but instead of going to the US of A, we are going to the Canada for a run on Yellowhead Pass, the excellent route by Milepost Simulations. We are driving a wide cab SD40-2. It's mid-October, the height of the Canadian grain harvest. Many trains are flowing west with loads for export. However, empty still need to get east. You're in charge of an empty grain train heading back from the ports at Vancouver to Edmonton, where it will be broken up for distribution to northern Alberta elevators. You are being held at Charles while an eastbound overtakes you. As a low-priority train, you're going to get held up quite a bit, so get ready. I do like the TS Classic, I guess you'd call it box art. CN Albrita Sub RTC. CN 5252 East, this is dispatch. I have CN 9469 East coming up on CP Von Zuben now. After it clears CP Charles, you'll be able to follow him east. I have a ton of westbounds coming your way, but you should have a clear run to Red Pass. Dispatch out. we have instrument lights at all? I don't remember. That would be my one gripe of milepost. Oh, there we go. Okay, it just doesn't have a key bind. But you also can't open the windows. So yeah, that would be my one gripe about milepost. Their rolling stock is a little light on features. Great horn, though. Let's see. Number lights. I know we can have the class lights on. Just gotta figure out where the light for those are. Or the switch, I should say. That is a useless... Oh, there we go. Whites. Whites. There we go. We have class lights. Which is pretty sweet. Totally unnecessary, but pretty sweet. There's the eastbound that's overtaking us. Our train is a bit of a long boy. Oops. I can't hit the gas, Maggie. We're at a red. See? This is our signal. Red means no. I can't speed it up. It's not my train. No cops, no laws. Okay, but there are railroad cops and there are laws. Nope. Title feels kind of Bob Seger-y. Against the flow. No loss when cops aren't watching. I mean, fair enough. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that, Code Monkey. I've never really tried it. Well, we have a green, but, not really. It's an odd glitch. A rather dangerous one at that, too. Alright, now we are technically cleared to proceed. Life is going good, Maggie. I am enjoying my job, and I am actually looking for a house. Well, a condo, but... I am diving into the realms of home ownership, is the gist. How about you? How's life going? It was just the previous route with terrible signals. No, because Soldier Summit also has terrible signals. As does Granger Heartland. I gotta be honest, Granger Heartland will always be one of my most regretted buys because I bought it at like 25% off. And $30 was way too much to pay for that route. My ladies, all what? 0 of them? We got a green right after the eastbound we're trailing cleared at Jessica. Oh, Granger Heartland. It has the same problem that Soldier Summit has. Conflicting signals and facing the opposite direction you're going being cleared. No maidens. Not yet, at least. I'm doing that self-improvement stuff I've heard so much about. I can't explain it very well, but essentially, I'm pretty sure Granger Heartland is the root trash. I mean, it's fine. There's no... What is it? I think there's no whistle boards. There's no speed limit warning signs on the route, so the speed limits are marked on the HUD, but if you're driving without the HUD, you have no way of knowing what the upcoming speed limit changes are. That's a yellow, we're good to go. And the SD70 Ace is just repurposed from the SD70 Ace DLC. So they literally didn't even add... so the raindrops don't even collect on the windshield. They didn't improve the horn. And the GP40-2 is just repurposed from the GP40-2 pack, and all the rolling stock is just repurposed from Sherman Hill. Exactly. To your point, maybe. Why don't you think this would be a long-term thing? Yeah, that too, but that's kind of a general problem, Toad Monkey. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can read the reviews. The reviews are all pretty accurate. I mean, the route itself is fine. The scenery's nice. The track work is fine, but, you know, the actual meat and bones of the route is a little disappointing. But, I mean, I made a scenario for it, so it's usable. It's drivable. But, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's my most routes can. I don't know why. I don't know why it's a problem on this route and Soldier Summon. Ooh, that's not good. You gotta have life goals. I thought you liked Kinda Dumb, though, Maggie. You're not a fan of the himbos? Is it an old route? Granger Heartland? No, it's pretty new. I want to say 2020? I do really like the horn on these. The horn is awesome. And pretty accurate for a Canadian National SD40. From what I remember. Oh, but he's on another level. Oh, that's rough. Should have been proper skills. Yeah, there you go. All you need to know is that it's currently $25.99 US. Oh, that's right, because it's part of TS Explorer. Halloween 2019 is when that route was released. Oh, wow, that's pretty bad. I figure I should be watching signals here. Alright, that was green. Amen. Oh, that's right. So, we are on the Albrita sub. To our left and below us is the... There it is. There it is. The Robson sub. And so, together they both make a double-track railway, although they both have passing sidings, but they aren't particularly long. I forget which one was built first. I think it was the Robson sub, because that's the one that connects with, is it the Skeena subdivision? Oh no, that's the Tetajan? I don't know how you pronounce that. But that's the line to Prince George and Prince Rupert. I did see High Iron posted on Facebook that they do have stuff in development for TS Classic, so Looking forward to more stuff coming from them. The Hanover sub and the B&O Mountain sub are both excellent routes, and the DLC packs for them have been awesome. So I know Milepost has got one cooking. Something in the Steam era, which will be nice. I wonder if they've posted. Did DTM posted anything recently? No, that's surprising. Usually he's pretty frequent about posting. Nope, Milepost haven't posted anything recently. What about Larius? Nope, Larius hasn't posted in a while. Yeah, no, exactly. Although I think a lot of people would argue they also can't do UK routes especially well. Or German routes, for that matter. Or much of anything, for that matter. Which isn't necessarily a stance I agree with, but they can't even do UK right. They're based in the UK. I think they get the UK pretty right. I guess Code Monkey could speak to this better than I could, but I also don't know, so as a non-native, and also someone who's never been. But yeah, I can't remember the last time I played a DTG American route and wasn't bugged by some pretty obvious issues. Then again, I can't remember the last time DTG made an American route. Oh, Tehachapi. Duh. Oh, that's the other thing. I haven't gotten a chance to look at the new ground textures for Tehachapi, because those were supposedly improved as well. Which I really hope is the case, because the north end, right when you start ascending the pass out of Bakersfield, were ugly as hell. No, exactly. We don't talk about Cajon Pass here. I mean, yeah, that's the other thing too, Code Monkey. People are always willing to pick things apart to the nth degree. And I mean, obviously I get it. At the end of the day, it's a simulator and not real life, and there are certain limitations of it. Yeah, exactly. Right. No, I mean, and definitely, like, it should at least resemble the place you're trying to model, at the very least. Which is one of the things I like so much about the racetrack, because I know it so well, I can pick out, individual locations that I know in real life, and be like, oh yeah, that's, this place, or that's that place. I lost my point. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, if it's just, it doesn't look anything like it should, or like the signals are in the right place, but they look wrong, like they don't fit, they don't look like what the real life ones would. Obviously, that's an issue. And I mean, yeah, stuff like that I get. But like you said, if it's floating, if it's one or two floating bushes, or, you know, the stonework on the station isn't right, that's okay. So what? You know, nine out of 10 people aren't going to notice that, because 9 out of 10 people aren't looking for that unless maybe it's like their local line. In which case, yeah, you're going to hold it to a higher standard anyway. When the Union Pacific Geneva sub gets released, I will be, by whoever, I will be going through that puppy with a fine-toothed comb. Yeah, exactly, Jesse. Same thing when somebody releases a Chillicothe subdivision. Fine-toothed comb. They won't know what hit them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, again, I don't care about it, it doesn't need to be picture perfect. Like you said, it doesn't need to have, the Wendy's on the corner, but, it should have, like, a Brendy's. And I mean, I get that, it's kind of stupid, in a 60-mile route to have to model one building. For one location, but the beauty of American fast food chains is that they're everywhere and most of the buildings look the same. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the other thing. Stations not having lighting is a problem. I think that's a complaint on the Woodhead route. And not even that, there's like no lights in the towns. So they look kind of odd at night. Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, is fine if it's like, you know, the Mojave. That's what it should look like. But a town should at least have some life in it. Mm. I mean, if you're talking about, like, third-party ones, I would think most of those are just real ones. I would think someone only would make them if they're planning on releasing it through DTG. Yeah, stuff like that. Although, I will say, getting branded containers in the game is definitely a good first step. And especially now that we have a good variety with Hatpack Lloyd, Hamburg Sud, and ONE. I'd like to see a few more. And it is kind of wrong that they're 53-footers, but it's a step in the right direction. Like you said, Jessica. It's definitely a good beginning. You know, I'd like to see certainly JB Hunt come in. JB Hunt, UPS, FedEx. What else? EMP, Hub Group. I guess bring CSX ones to TS, but we need a proper CSX route, so. Schneider, I don't think you'd really need. I could take her or leave that. I think MSC, that'd be a good one. You see a lot of those. Costco. Just really all the big shipping lines I'd like to see eventually work their way into the game, but again, the ones we have are a great first step, so I would like to see them build on it, I guess, is my ultimate point. That'd be good. That'd be good. I would also take one either north or south out of Cincinnati. I'd be okay with either one of those. Probably north. But I'm also kind of biased because I was in Cincinnati not too long ago. Ooh, Cincinnati to Toledo. That might be a little far. But I would like it. Heck, I'd even take the Union Pacific Villa Grove sub between Chicago and Woodlawn Junction. That would be sweet. Cincinnati to Bellefontaine. I don't know where Bellefontaine is in relation, but that would probably work, yeah. We got to get through Foster before we get to Red Pass. Center of Ohio. What's that? 50s. Did New York Central go to Cincinnati? Because I don't think Conrail did. These just stretches of open line, or do they terminate at any yards? Cincinnati has a couple of really big yards. Queensgate Yard used to be a hump before PSR. Actually, Toledo used to have a hump before PSR. But it's hard to do that, you know, with a lot of American routes, just with how spread out it is. There's not a lot of natural endpoint that you can do with that without having it be, you know, an enormous route. Which is why having routes kind of centered on standard crew districts kind of helps. Okay. So like if you were to do the Union Pacific Geneva sub, then it would make the most sense to have it go from Chicago to Clinton, Iowa, which is a division point. And I mean, that would still be a pretty meaty route. But there's no other natural point to split it because it's a double-tracked railroad the entire way. There's nowhere to naturally stop that without having to come up with some kind of goofy situation, you know, like a derailment or something. Which is just really forced and unnatural. Which is why some of that works better for single-track railways. That would still be a beefy route. That's pushing, what, 150 miles, I think? Pennsylvania's pretty big. Mm-hmm. The other problem, too, with that is, you know, then you have to split it into multiple parts, which is always hard on a double-track route because then you have to come up with some goofy reason why you're stopping things in the middle of, you know, in the middle of the run because you wouldn't do that. But nobody wants to play a 5-hour scenario. Well, most people don't want to play a 5-hour scenario. I don't want to make a 5-hour scenario. So, I mean, there's that aspect of it, too. And I mean, that's great, Jessica. That's, there's nothing wrong with liking long scenarios. It's just, they're horrid to make. Because the AI, when you get to that stage, the AI requires an intense amount of fiddling, because by the time you get a couple hours into the scenario, the time estimation, in the editor isn't worth a damn. And so you basically just kind of have to guess when to start your AI moving. Which is really annoying if that AI is, causing a meet on a single track line, and so you end up getting to the meet spot, 20 minutes early. So now you can't even finish testing the scenario because you can't get an accurate idea of how long it is. And so now you have to go into the editor and make one change and then play that same 2-hour stretch of the scenario again. I didn't think that was a thing in TS. I know it's a thing in Train Z. Interesting. I might have to look into that. Ah. Oh. Got a rocky bit here. Some slide fence. Only through manual donkey work, not the editor. Oh, I do love me an out-of-memory error. I know 64-bit was supposed to help alleviate a lot of that, and I mean, and it does, but it can't alleviate the problem when sometimes, it just has to think about too much all at once for whatever reason. And I mean, that's with any software. I work with AutoCAD in my job, and it crashed while saving and how the track is gone. No, that's a fun one. I work with AutoCAD for my job, and sometimes, I'll use a command I've used, 50 times that day without issue, and then suddenly it'll just be too much for CAD to handle, and it'll just crash. For, like, no goddamn reason. Which is especially annoying because I am terrible about frequent saving. Oh yeah, that's a fun one. I've had it dump out on me during mid-test a couple of times. So annoying. And I mean, this has followed me across the upgrade to 64 and the upgrade to 64-bit and the upgrade to the new computer with 32 gig of RAM. It's just, sometimes software just kind of dies on itself. Glitch, Like I said, I don't know that it's necessarily something you can fix, Jessica. Sometimes software just craps out on you. I have more of an appreciation for that now. I appreciate that more now that I've worked with AutoCAD, a lot in the last year. And sometimes it's just stupid. At the end of the day, all technology is made by humans, and humans are fundamentally stupid. So, ergo, technology is also fundamentally stupid. Who's there? Bonk who? say, for as great as the scenery on this stretch of the route is, it's kind of awful not being able to have AI. It's also painfully slow. But we're getting there. That doesn't sound appealing. CN, Alberta sub, RTC, CN 5252 East, this is dispatch. I'll be holding you at Red Pass while I get a westbound around another train before they get on the Robson sub. CN 9600 West. You'll then be cleared east. Dispatch out. Yeah, I don't exactly love the idea of having to monkey around in the files, so... Toss that on the wish list of things DTG can hopefully do. Even if it's like a track linked object that you have to, physically place. That would be a fantastic help. Yeah, exactly. We're in a train. They made me. What do you mean, Twix? Who was mean to you? Wow, what a dictator. we should have a yellow up here. Or a green, you know. $10 million trees. Yeah. We're getting close to the end of Endless Trees, so... Okay. Yep. We're gonna be back on... I mean, this whole route is technically double-tracked. We were just on you know, the eastbound track when it was separated from the westbound track. So now the east and westbound tracks are going to be running parallel. So it's your standard North American CTC double track railway. A thing o' beauty. Nope, you're good. We'll also be running at a little bit of a higher speed too, which is kind of nice. Alright, we should be getting the signal in just a second. Roommates are having some fun. There we go. Is it really green though? Should be. This whole bit took some doing. Or did it? No, I think I might have dumped the train we were following into a portal before this. The CN Holly sub? From Durham to Detroit? I don't think that line's especially busy. And if you're gonna do a line in Michigan, I would think you would do the Flint sub. Battle Creek to Sarnia. Although I guess Battle Creek to Port Huron would make more sense. I think Port Huron's the crew change point. Ah! Well, that's different then, isn't it? Makes sense. Although I would like some more up-to-date modern Canadian national rolling stock, but it would be nice to have GTW represented. So we're now rolling along the shores of Moose Lake. Flat Rock sub? What is that? Detroit to Toledo? We're a Canadian train. Oh no, I guess Grand Trunk Western was... Shit! Grand Trunk Western was American. God damn. We're an American train! The one that crosses the CSX Saginaw sub in Carlton just before the Conrail Lincoln Park secondary splits off. Or actually, I think it's actually Carrollton. I'm not sure what I'm thinking of then. Yeah, another westbound. Or the CP Windsor sub. That'd be good. CN Alberta sub RTC. CN 5252 East, this is dispatch. I'll be holding you at Grant Brook for more opposing traffic. Dispatch out. Yeah, no, this is an awesome bit of this line. The Canadian Rockies are just unbelievably beautiful. There's a reason Jasper National Park is my top railfan destination. Probably Kamloops, yeah. The Fraser River Canyon. All of that. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable to think that they managed to put a railway here. Is Hinton on this route? I want to say yes. I couldn't tell you where, though. Geikie. Yellowhead. Fitzwilliams. Maybe not. I don't remember where Hinton is. A memorial. When zoomed out, it could show a map texture with proper labels and terrain. Oh, yeah, that's right. Mm. Well, you know what they say. The rules of the railroad are written in blood. Ah, shoot. Speed limit's going up to 50 here. I really do like this stretch of the route. What's up? Oh, huh. Yeah, the signaling on this route might be goofy, but can't beat this scenery. Speed limit is dropping to 40. And we are not going to hit that. Yeah, it's interesting that it's at Heber Valley. Isn't that in Utah? Oh no, we did make it. Look at that. A train with decent braking. Oh no, the aspects are fine. It's just the fact that we're getting greens when we should be getting yellows is my main point. But I mean, red over green is green. Yellow over green is yellow. Yellow over red is yellow, excuse me. Yellow over green is something different. Flashing yellow over red is the same as a double yellow in the UK, and then all reds is red. And where it gets weird is when you get into the diverging route indications, which are just your various forms of, which is what North American railroads use instead of feather indicators. It's also, I think it's all fairly standard now, but it used to also be different by railroad. Exactly, if it ain't all red, ain't red at all. I mean, even I don't know what all the aspects technically mean. Are you not talking about the flashing greens on Stoke Bank? In the, what was that, the 90s? What's fun is if you play the Peterborough SimSig layout, it has the flashing greens. So, and the default 2009 timetable, the October 15th one has, it was like 2 sets of GYR aspects. Oh, okay, interesting. And the default 2009 timetable has all of the, Class 91 sets set for 140 max. So they will actually, if you turn on the flashing greens option, they will operate at 140 miles an hour. Between Peterborough and Stoke Junction, which is pretty cool. Entirely unrealistic, but it's a bit of fun. Uh-oh, pop quiz. Get the train stopped. What does approach limited mean on CSX? Isn't that approach the next signal at no more than 30 miles an hour? Gee, maybe we'll get more than 50 feet after getting stopped after this. Oh well, I'll get out and do a roll by when the next train comes. Scenario complete. Alright, so that was Against the Flow for Yellowhead Pass. Ah, okay, this one was one I made on this computer. That's nice. That is going to do it for this week. I think it was an LNER thing, basically the head at the top. That's the real aspect. Ah, okay. Interesting. Fridays in the Valley is next week, but we are going to have a special start time of noon Eastern. I have a social engagement next Friday night, and I don't want to stream on Saturday, so, and I'm off of work next Friday. So, noon Eastern for Fridays in the Valley. As a reminder, everything you see on here can be played on Steam Workshop. Link is in the places. Be sure to like the Facebook page to get notifications on new scenarios and days like today when the 45, okay. Days like today where we're having a late start. Sometimes stuff crops up because of real life. YouTube, I'm going to try my damnedest to get worked on this weekend. I need to start catching up. It's getting bad. It's like 2 months behind now. I think that should do it. 30 is medium speed. Let's see. YouTube, Facebook, Steam Workshop. Yep, that should do it. So thanks everyone again for watching, and I will see you all next week at noon Eastern. Bye.